Yeah, we can hear you, Terrance. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. My name's Andy. I'm the one that you talk to on the phone. This is my
Nice.
co-host AJ.
It's nice to meet you too. And let me move this out of the way. Everything good?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
it's been
good. We're good,
it's been
man. Good to
it's been a
see you.
minute since it's been a minute since I did a podcast. I used to do a podcast called A Sip of Tea.
Oh,
During
really?
I started it during COVID.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's when we started. We started just
Yeah.
before COVID, and then I think like our fourth or fifth episode was a Rudy Gobert shut the world down.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then it was like, so now what do we talk about? Because there are no sports. Because that's all we were doing at the time was just us talking about sports, and it's just like, okay. So we had to BS our way through stuff for, however long that shutdown was. But no, thanks for reaching out to me, man. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Right into the questions and stuff. Now you played at Michigan all 4 years, were a captain your last year and stuff like that. Tell me, what was it about Michigan that drew you to Michigan? Was it just being from Muskegon? Was it something with Lloyd Carr?
No. It was the being a part of something bigger than myself. That's what drew me to Michigan, because I got that taste of being a part of something bigger than myself at Muskegon High School, and that's what drove me there, because the rich history of the people that came before me, what I was a part of, the things I had to live up to, and the things that I wanted to accomplish in terms of placing my name in the history books of Muskegon High School. And I was really caught up in that. And I remember when I went to Michigan, and I walked those halls and I looked at those pictures, and I walked through Schembecker Hall, and I felt that tradition, and I felt like I was part of bigger than myself. And I felt if I could accomplish something here to etch my name in the history books, that would be a great accomplishment, because that's the hardest to do when you have such a storied, program. I mean, Muskegon is the winningest high school program in the state of Michigan. Michigan is the winningest high school college program in the world. So, it was a challenge that brought me, and I really wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself.
So that's going to lead me into a question that I really didn't have kind of set up. Nowadays, with the transfer portal and stuff, kids are moving around a lot. And, you stated just now, like the challenge of being able to make it at a place like that, like the challenge that you face. What are your thoughts on the way kids kind of transfer now? Do you feel like they've kind of set it up so that way kids don't have to face a challenge? Like, oh, if you're not getting the playing time that you want, or you're not seeing the outcome you want, well, we can just move on.
I think the transfer portal is a great idea, right? In terms of back then, if you went to a school, because there's a lot of moving parts when you go to a defensive D1 college, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it doesn't pan out. Sometimes you're not the guy. Sometimes you just don't have the opportunity. And so the transfer portal is a great idea. Is it executed the right way? No. Are they monitoring it and putting the right stoppers in? I don't think so. I don't think that you should be able to transfer as many times as you want, or it should be also a designated time. You have to do, spend a certain amount of time, there. But I think that, it's a great idea, as well as NIL. This needs to be refined, or it will change the course of college football, because now you're stepping into a realm of the NFL. And my transition from the college to NFL showed me that college is more of a family. You go to parties with the guys. You go out to eat with the guys. You spend a lot of time with the guys. When you get to the NFL, you have a family. You have kids. A lot of that bonding happens at practice or at camp. So if we continue going down the same road that with NIL and transfer portal, it just becomes a business. And I believe that high school football and college football is the last true pure forms of football, for the love of it. The fans, the players, the brotherhood that's built, and not only through practices, but through your daily lives for 4 years or 5 years,
Mm-hmm. From a fan standpoint on that, I've always said, like, I enjoy college football better than I like pro football, because, if Terrance Taylor comes to Michigan, he is always a Michigan Wolverine. Like you cheer on your favorite player, that's what he is. No matter where he goes in the NFL or where he goes in life, he's always a Michigan Wolverine from a fan standpoint. But in the pros, they could trade your favorite player, and it happens all the time, and then some other fan base gets to lay claim, you know what I mean? And so they kind of take that away from, college and stuff like that. But I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get that.
Yeah. It's just more of refining it, right? Like you hit the nail on the head. You bounce around, right? And in college, you're there. But now it could change, right? Because you could go, they could get rid of you and bring somebody else in, pull from the portal. But I just truly believe that the last pure forms of football it's college, and we got to hold on to that. And it's a lot of good things that are happening. With the playoff system, I feel like it gives more teams opportunities and kids to showcase the things that they do. The transfer portal, I think, is great because it opens up for other, if you're a 5-star and you haven't been getting play time, you go to another school. Mm-hmm. Now, schools like Alabama, Georgia, they can't afford players anymore. So now it comes down to coaching because a lot of 5-stars and 4-stars are going to other schools. So now who's the good coach? Who's good at developing? Mm-hmm. Right. And so that's what you saw with Michigan, right? You have a lot of 2, 3 stars, 4 stars, maybe one or 2 5 stars if you're lucky, but you're dominating, right? Because mm-hmm. You're building a tradition, rebuilding tradition, and you're building a foundation through your coaching and player development. It's nothing like experiencing both. It's nothing like college football. The excitement, the tradition, the things that you go, the fans. No matter what city I lived in or where I've been, I met Michigan alum. Yeah. And they sent out emails or contacted the team to let me know that it was a group in town. Even when I went out to Columbus, Ohio, when I was playing in NFL, and I got hit up by, we're not a lot out here, but we're out here, right? In the NFL, you have ex-Michigan players. It still runs deep in the NFL. I mean, the rivalries that you had, mm-hmm. people, like that stuff, that still continues. You can be 10 years into your tenure, and you're still a Michigan man. I met players like their coaches, and they let themselves be known no matter where. And that's one of the beautiful things about Michigan is that no matter where you go, you're going to find a Michigan man or woman. Mm-hmm. And they're going to support you. And they know who you are, right? And they know that your history, and they followed you. So, I mean, that's one thing that about, I think, college is different because they spend so much time with you, and then they only have so much time with you. And you spend those 4 years, and you become like family.
Totally agree, Terrance. And I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but I just want to ask you, like, do you think there should be, and we'll get more into your career and the things that you're doing right now here in a minute, but do you think there should be like a salary cap on the NIL?
No. I don't think it should be any salary cap on even the NFL, right? If you're that good, if you're even in the NFL, right? There's no salary cap in NBA. I mean, in MLB, right? It's guaranteed money, right? What you do and and I think it should be based off. But I do think that here's the issue that I think, and when speaking with Michigan and some other schools, it's hard to offer a kid some millions of dollars when they never haven't proven themselves in that arena. Yeah, it's great in high school, but when you haven't proven yourself in college, then it's really hard to pay you that much money. But it's easier to pull from a transfer portal because this guy's proven. So it's going to be a shift in terms of kids. You have to be the top of the top to be pulled out into college and get an opportunity because the transfer portal is open. Why am I going to risk $1 million on a guy that it was great in high school, but how many cases do we have that got there and flopped, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's a certain ceiling. But this guy that's started 2 years over here, put these numbers up, I'll spend that much money on him because he's proven he hasn't got the opportunity. I say this stuff because it's a fine line. A lot of it is moving in the right direction. Millions and billions of dollars have passed through colleges and not in the players' hands. Mm-hmm. From video games to jersey sales to TV deals to and you get education, you get a place to stay, and you used to get a little bit of money. but you still had to work over the summer. But the university's making millions and millions of dollars every year. So should they be compensated? It shouldn't. It should be done the right way, but they should be compensated. And also, you're dealing with kids. You have to set a standard. I don't think it should be athletes sitting out of bowl games when their team's playing. Right? If you start the season, finish the season. Right? Because you set a precedent for it's okay to not finish and leave your teammates hanging because the money's there. That's when college football starts changing.
Well, yeah, that's it starts turning into like a semi-pro or professional league because they're paying you at this point. So it's almost, I mean, I don't know if contracts would be involved, but there could be. And so they're going to expect you to play in their biggest high-profile games like the Rose Bowl or the playoff. You know, there's no sitting out then at that point as far as they're concerned. You know, the people paying.
But as a coach, what are you going to do? He's making more money than you.
I agree with it. I mean, where are you with that? I mean, is there any like FOMO with like, man, I wish you know I was making money at that point or anything like that. Yeah.
You think about how much I think about how much money I would have made NIL. Like just through I did a lot at Michigan and I had the personality to go out and get deals at car dealerships or Subway, and because that's open to you now, right? Yeah. And you can make the money through there, like through a lot of different avenues if you have the personality. So kids with personality, kids with the smarts. I mean, you can start a lot of things to make money. Yeah, I mean, you know, as much as money as, and I love Michigan. Don't get me wrong, but much money as they made off of me, like I would love to not have to have been working at a carnival during the summer, right?
Right.
So, you know, and now it's a thing where they're trying to get money for past players. They did the thing with the college football game, right? Mm-hmm. Where you got paid for being on the game years later, and it wasn't that much from what they made for 4 years being on a college football game. The only thing that's different is that your name is not on your jersey. It doesn't say Taylor, but it's my height, you know, my skin color. You know, it's me, my football number, but I didn't receive $1, right? Mm-hmm. Jersey sales didn't receive $1. And so, you should definitely be compensated. If you're making money off this, it's not, and then you separate it from the school. Like the football doesn't pay for the school.
Yeah. Is that something you think about, or is that something that's an issue right now where the University of Michigan comes back and they're like, we want you to make an appearance here for this or that, and you should be making more money or you should be making any money for an appearance or I mean, you kind of touched on that just a little bit.
Yeah, you should. If you're making an appearance, if you're doing anything outside of. And, you know, you're talking about in college, if athletes in college, or if I was in college.
Well, yeah, but like even now.
Even now?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like once you step out, you're still a part of it. But it's like I'm not generating money for them anymore, right? I'm not doing anything like that. What I can do is give my wisdom and come back and be a motivator and, come to the games, be on the sideline, talk to the kids and give them the information, right? That time, now it's more through appreciation of what I did, right? When I see the coaches and I go there, when they come to Muskegon, like they came to the beach a couple years ago, 2 years ago, I sat out there with Harbaugh and everybody, and Mike Hart was all my ex-teammate Mike, he was a coach now. Sit out there and we talked, and Harbaugh had me talk to the players, the importance of going to school, education, and all that stuff, and being consistent. If things go through, would I love for them to pay me back for those 4 years of not getting NIL? I mean, it's what they're trying to do now. Yeah, send it to me.
Right.
It would be a drop in the bucket of what they generated. Right. Sure. 1 versus 2. Ohio State, Michigan Ohio State number 1. We're number 2. I was part of led the defense, the nation in rush defense with 43 yards per game. Mm-hmm. Me, Lamar, I was there on that team. Yeah. That it was 21 million people watching that game. Mm-hmm. We went undefeated. Right.
That was the 2006 season, right?
2006, right?
Yep. Yeah.
a lot of moments like that. I mean, you see the games on Big Ten. What is it called? They play throwback games. I
Yeah,
can
where they
remember
play
that.
classics and stuff.
I'm on there a lot. I'm
Yeah.
on there a lot, right?
Yeah.
But it's just it's more so that I want the players to be in a good position in terms of when you're that young, you get that much money. Like you got to have people around you to make you understand, because it takes one injury to end your career. Antonio Bass, who was a beast, and one day at practice with a towel in his hand, took a step, handed it off towards MCL, ACL, PCL, you name it, done.
Wow.
And so it's just being smart. And that's the thing that I can give back to them. I'm on my own journey. Now, if they want to pay me for pass, that's fine. But every kid going forward, just having the knowledge and then, having the right people around you, because, now you have lawyers and agents as soon as you step into college. Everybody wants their hand out, especially if you're a top guy, right?
Yeah.
Now, everybody's not getting that much money. You're getting 40, maybe 50, 30, depends on where you are, right, a year, which is still good money. But not everybody's making $1 million. Don't get it wrong. Not everybody's making a lot of money, but they're making money, which is good.
Yeah. Now, getting back to your playing time in Michigan, you were there, talked about the 2006 season, during kind of a transition time. Your senior year, you're a captain. That's the first year that Rich Rod is the coach, and that ushers in that era, and that's a rough time. I believe your record was 3-9 that season. What do you, as a captain, what are you telling the guys in the locker room halfway through that season, when I'm sure the morale is probably struggling? And then to kind of tail onto that, what are some of the lessons that you learned from that season that can stick with you, or that did stick with you?
Thank you for bringing that back up and ruining my night.
Sorry. That's it. I will not revisit any more of that.
But no, you hit the nail on the head. I was my senior year, 05 to 09. Speaking on that transition period, going into my senior year, I knew it could go two ways. And as at this point, I'm talking to agents. I'm deciding whether I'm going to leave college early, if I'm going to stay. I'm in the voting for a defensive award going into the season. I got everything going right, and I remember telling either my mom or somebody, it's going to go two ways. Either we're going to have a good season, decent season, or it's going to go really bad. Can you guess which way it went?
It went bad.
And so Rich Rod and his coaching staff didn't understand where they were. This is University of Michigan. This is not Virginia. This is not any other school. The expectation is high, right? And the respect needs to be high for where you are. Understanding no matter who we're playing, that team wants to beat Michigan because it's Michigan. If we're on anybody's schedule, that's the biggest game on their schedule.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right? And when you come in there and you think because you put on a Michigan hoodie, some shoes, and that doesn't make you a Michigan man. When you get into college and you get there, you're not a Michigan man until you get put through the fire and you understand and respect the tradition of where you are. And he had a lack of that. His coaching staff had a lack of that. Mike Barnes was an awesome coach. He's the only one that I really liked. Mm-hmm. And that was the issue, right? When the game that we lost to App State, no, that was the next year before that. Right? No, that was my junior year.
That was the year before him.
We were running. It was just so much in that season with me, Tim Jamerson, and a couple other seniors that were looking at it, and then in season we're like, understand why it's going this way. And I remember this. I'll give you this story. Where we had just lost to Michigan State, and we're in the locker room. Mind you, we beat them like 3 years in a row, right? Mm-hmm. Rich Rod comes in. He says, we're sitting there. He says, to you seniors, you beat them 3 years in a row. So, and to you and the rest of you guys on the ground, and you get the chance next year. That's not the mentality of a Michigan man. No loss is okay. It doesn't matter if we beat them 3 years in a row. We didn't win today. And nowhere in Michigan is a loss okay or acceptable, right? That's the mentality. And I remember looking at Tim and saying, I feel bad for this group after we leave, because the mentality is not there. And from the coaches up, because you don't understand where you are and the significance of any game we walk out on that field against anybody. And you kind of see how it went after I left. And I didn't go back to Michigan for some years. And a lot of players didn't go back to Michigan for some years while Rich Rod was there. And I remember coming back in, and I think it had just when Brady Hoke I got there, and I walk into Ben Schembecker Hall, and the lady at the front desk says, you need to, unless you guys can come back, you need to let everybody know to come back because things are different now. This is her words to me. I haven't been there in like two years or however long. It's been a while, and it hurt me to be away from Michigan that long. But I couldn't be around what it was at the time. It wasn't what I committed to way back in 2004, 4, or 5. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that whole in that season, you're not only trying, in the midst of that, you're not only trying to uphold the school's legacy and the people that came before you, but you're trying to uphold yours, because it takes one season for your draft stock to drop, for anything to happen. Yeah. And it's out of your control. We went from running a 4 to them coming in and running a 3-4 in the Big Ten against Minnesota, Wisconsin. That means, that means you got to have pretty good linebackers, right? Mm-hmm. But you don't understand that works in West Virginia. That doesn't work in the Big Ten when them big boys put the
yeah.
Luckily, I was lucky, but it's only so much you could do. And I remember getting to the combine and they asked, sitting in a room with the Panthers or the Steelers, I can't remember. Why did your production go down? Now, what they teach you when you're going into the combine, when you're training for the combine, you meet in and they're preparing you for the interviews, they tell you they don't want to hear excuses. Oh, we had a new coaching staff. We went from a 4-3 to a 4-2 to a 3-4. And if you understand football, you understand the Big Ten, that's running that kind of defense. They wanted me to stand up with my hands out on the ground. I can't say that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I said, but I just took it on the chin and said, it's my fault, this, because that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear about why. So it damages you when you have a coach like that, or you have those instances happen. So that's why I say the transfer portal is good, right? Because if you look at Ryan Mallard, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. He transferred out, and me and Tim told him, you should get out of here. Yeah. Me and Tim said that to him. You're 6'6", 6'7", you're a pocket passer. They're going the spread route. Get out of here.
Yeah, because that's the way that offense was going.
And he went and he killed at another school. So, that's how that year went. You look back on it, and no one wants to end their senior year like that. After being number 1, number 2, after beating Florida in the Capital One Bowl, after, Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying. What are you doing now?
So I came back. I was still playing professionally in the NFL, but I was coming back in Muskegon. And now I'm in permanent. 2020 kind of made me made everybody sit down, right? Mm-hmm. And prior to that, I wanted to start training. I had already been doing it, but I would come in Muskegon, train, and then I had to fly out and go play, and I was flying back and forth. Currently now, I have a sports training business called Transform the Threshold. I actually just got back from doing the training now, where I work with athletes, from 8 years old to professional, whoever needs it. I have different programs for that. I just got a new building, and so I'm starting training programs. I do, classes like leadership classes, financial literacy classes, teaching them how to cook, a lot of things that you don't think about until after sports, because you're in a world where, you spend your lifetime of, drilling and getting better, but the things that you need to know, you don't learn until later because you never had to do them, or never really, came to pass. And so not only do the sports training that I do is an important piece, but it's the information and the preparation that I try to do with the athletes, where giving them the tools to be successful, not in sports, but in life. Because I remember Coach Carr, he told me this, right? We're in the team meeting, and you have to understand, I'm really dedicated, right? when I'm in it, when I was in there, it was my life. That's all I thought about it. I wasn't thinking down the line. I was thinking this year, right? That you live your life in seasons. Mm-hmm. And he said, football is about this much of your life. And I remember sitting there as a sophomore, and it dawned on me, and I was like, yeah, what am I going to do at 28, like 30? I have a whole rest I'm thinking I was going to play football forever at that point in time. It never dawned on me, like literally. And at that moment, it dawned on me, like, yeah, football is not that much of my life. Like, I only can do this for a certain amount of time. Like, what am I doing afterwards? You know? But you got a lot of athletes in that mind frame where you don't think about that, because to be your best, you have to dedicate your life and your thought process, and because it's only 1% that makes it to the NFL. Yeah. You know how much dedication and mental focus that takes? Not everybody gets to go to the University of Michigan and start for 3 years and travel as a freshman. It's a lot of mental focus and dedication where you release a lot of things and you just lock in. And sometimes you don't think about that. Even in high school, that journey takes you. And so a lot of our athletes don't get the tools to understand how to do taxes, what's understand credit, a lot of things, right? And just bringing people in to teach them that stuff, because the school should be doing that, or different programs should be doing that. But here in Muskegon, like and in a lot of other places, because I've lived in a lot of cities, that's not happening, because sports is your world. But I want you to be successful in sports and out of sports, because football or any sport, because I train all sports, is as much of your life. Mm-hmm. And the person that you are, the man or woman that you are, can be defined through what you do in sports. You will learn resilience that you didn't know that you had, commitment that you didn't know that you had. Like, you will learn a lot of things, leadership skills, right? Being a part of a team, and that you can apply to your life in the right way. And so I do that. I also classes with non-sport playing athletes, such as firefighters, police officers, people that are going to the military to train, prison guards, people that need to be, they're athletes in their own right, because they need to be in a shape, because the win or loss of a game is their life. As an officer, if you can't wrestle, if you're not in shape, your life is on the line. That's how you lose. Right. Winning is being able to fight through that. And we have a lot of officers that are out of shape. Firefighters, right? Your life is on the line. So I categorize those as non-sports playing athletes, and I'm here for them too. And so I have a lot of stuff going on, that I'm doing. But like, I'm in a place right now where I'm moving. I was just moving to another building, and we're getting it all together. And this is going to be a very big year for the things that I'm bringing to Muskegon and surrounding areas. This is more than sports training. Well, I guess I'm using it as a tool.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you, is that this is, I would guess, predominantly in the Muskegon area.
I got people from Grand Rapids, from Grand Haven.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Are you going to do like close. Satellite? Well, would you travel and do like, I mean, I guess this would probably geared more towards athletes, but like satellite camps and like Saginaw or Traverse City or, down Detroit way and stuff, Yeah.
I'll tell you satellite camps, because I have a lot of teammates and friends that put on clinics and camps and stuff like that. Not even in the state of Michigan, Texas, LA. Mm-hmm. But the end goal is to have a transformative threshold in Grand Rapids. Okay. In Detroit, right? I have a friend that ex-teammate that owns Line Fitness out there. But that's the end goal, right? Because I want to spread this kind of program and the understanding of you can mix both life lessons and sports training at a high level to produce good men, young men and women into this world which changes the community. That's the whole reason I came back. They asked me because things were getting a little bit crazier back home. Mm-hmm. They asked me to come back to help out at the high school and stuff like that. And I didn't know what that was. I didn't want to come back for a quick money grab, a camp or something like that. I wanted to come back and create real change. Mm-hmm. And so I asked them, what do you think about me coming back and opening a gym? Because I have to use what I know, right, to draw it in and also to make change. Right. And so that's what I did.
So who is your mentor then, Terrance? Like half of this is the training part, but the other half is like the life training part. Who do you accredit to being your mentor? Your parents? Somebody outside of them.
Takes a village to raise a kid, and my mom is my hero. She worked all the time and never complained. She was always being my hero. I said that in my rookie year, being interviewed by a paper when I was at the camps with the Colts. My mom is my hero. It wasn't another player. I look up to her, and she's always been supportive of me and let me make my own decisions and learn from my mistakes. I had teachers that supported me. Mrs. Adams, who was my middle school teacher, who supported me all the way through my career and even to this day. Her family is like my family. Her daughters, her husband Jim, Mrs. Clear, who's no longer here, was a teacher who supported me. Rest in peace. There was a lot of Coach Tracy Lewis, right, that mentored me and told me about things that he went through because he played big time college football, and the mistakes that he's made and success that he had, and the things that if I want is out there. I remember Coach Elliott, who's another great coach, used to tell me. I remember being in the mud, right, at Muskegon and hitting the bag, on the lineman bag, just muddy, right. We didn't kick, lineman. We're kicking up dirt, and it's been raining, right. And I'm hitting the bag with butt rolling, and I'm hitting the bag, and people we're getting tired, but I'm so locked in. And he tells me, "Do you want to eat, hot dogs and chicken, or do you want to eat lobsters and steak?" And I said, I want to eat lobsters and steak.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality that I had going through things. Like people around me that and when I got to Michigan, you know what I ate?
Lobsters and
steak. Right? Okay. And so it takes, I pulled from a lot of good people. My family, my mom and my dad, my sister included. I was lucky enough to have both parents. But my mom outright has been the most supportive out of all of them. And I give her flowers. She never missed a game, even if she had to come alone. And I feel like it's my obligation to give back. I don't have any kids. I have so much information in my head and love in my heart that, for the people that are no longer here or are still here that did it for me, that catapulted my journey. I owe it to him. And I'll tell you one more story. Not too many people know this, so here's a gem for you. And in middle school, I came back. I used to live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I came back, and I lived in rough neighborhoods, and it was a rough time, right? And you had to be hardened by that. I met a coach named Larry Williams. And I remember I swore at practice or something like that. I was, I was at the age where I would, in the feeling that I would fight anybody. And I remember he had me down after practice. Everybody left, and I'm sitting there. He's like, I ain't doing no push-ups. I'm swearing. I don't want to swear on the show, but I ain't doing no push-ups. Mm-hmm. And I remember he got down. He was like, "You think you tough, don't you?" And I said, "I know I am." And he talked to me, and I'm down doing push-ups. And he's talking to me. And he says, "I can't wait till you get to Muskegon High School with them big boys. I'm going to see how tough you are. I can't wait to see how tough you are." And I stopped, and I looked at him, and I said, "I'm going to be the greatest high school football player to come out of Michigan." 2 or 3 days later, he passed away. He had a heart attack in the gym at the middle school. That conversation between me and him was just me and him. And nobody never told anybody that conversation. And from there, I went to Muskegon 4 years on varsity, and I did a lot. And I remember being at the state championship, at the first one since 1989, a 15-year drought. And I remember when the horn rang, and I looked up and I said, "I told you so." Now, I can give you the stats of my high school career. Yeah, I like to keep my word in the things that I do. I had a lot of firsts at Muskegon, which a lot of people don't talk about through my career. I did a lot of historic things in high school, and with all the things that I've done, all the knowledge I have, and understanding the support system that it takes, because you had to be pushed and guided in the right direction to be a good kid, because sometimes your environment and things you go through that, and I appreciate those people. And I just feel it's my obligation to give back. And this is the best way I know I can, because I'm genuine. I wrote my story. I did what I did. I'm not living through any kids. It's just pure hearted.
Right.
So.
Well,
Yeah.
That's awesome. The world needs more people like you, Terrance, honestly. People that want to make a difference and want to get out there and do the work.
Yeah.
Hoffman, do you have anything else?
I'm just really impressed by your story, Terrance, and I think that's also where are you heading towards? What are your goals moving towards the future?
My goals are this year to finish strong with my business, moving into the new space, get things going, have people understand the things that I'm doing and the things that I'm bringing to the area, not just Muskegon. Like I don't. If you're in distance, come, right, and from there setting a standard, because there is no places here that the focus is sports. You have gyms that do speed and agility that's a subcategory. Right, the main money market is a 24-hour open or lifting or CrossFit. Yeah. There's no sports gyms. I paid a lot of money across this great country to go into sports gym to get the best opportunity to be the best version that I can be. And we have some of the greatest athletes that come out of Michigan, come right out of Muskegon High School and the surrounding area. Mm-hmm. Why not give them the best opportunity, just the way they get in Texas, just the way they get everywhere else, to be the best they can be, and also give them life tools to be successful? Why don't we have that? Well, we do with me. And that's my path moving forward, to build on that, to build it out, that they have the opportunity. They can come and chill and get away, come and do homework or come work out, right? But be pushed and held accountable, right? Well, not held accountable, because self-accountability is you can only hold yourself accountable. No one can hold you accountable. But to teach them how to hold themselves accountable is my path forward, and just pushing through that, and hopefully getting support from people that have watched my career, understand who I am as a person, that supported me. I need that support now, in this second or third journey of my life, because I had so many journeys. So that's my path moving forward.
Terrance, I love that positivity and I love that mission. I think that's great. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah,
I thank you guys for having on. And then I didn't want to swear that I looked at your shirt.
No, yeah, man. I was thinking about it, but Tucky almost talked me out of it. But I'm like, man, he's a Michigan man. He'll understand.
I love it. And I really appreciate you guys inviting me on, because I think it's important, right, to share those stories and to have people on that are trying to change the narrative.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of people out there that want the narrative to stay the same.
100%. You're one of those people. So that's why we love having you on, and we really appreciate your story. So thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
All right. Well, we'll keep in touch, Terrance.
Okay.
Have a good
night.
Go Blue. Go Blue.
Go Blue.